recording. Okay, so this is FSA Writing Review number 2 for 6th grade, Planning and Using Evidence. And we are going to, let's do a sound check. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, so we reviewed this last week, but let's go over this again. Our FSA writing test dates. 6th grade, that's you guys. April 4th, 2018. You're going to arrive at 12:30. Okay? So you're testing in the afternoon. You want to arrive at the downtown at the Lee County Public Education Center, where we do all the testing, at 1 o'clock. Okay? The testing starts at 1 o'clock, so you want to arrive at 12:30. I'm sorry if I'm glitching you guys. Let's do another sound check. Give me a smiley face if you can hear me okay and it's not glitching. Okay. Give me a thumbs down if it's glitching. Okay. It seems to be okay for some of you. A couple of you are having problems with glitching. So try to sign out and sign back in. Okay, I'm sorry. So let me write that down for those of you who aren't hearing me. Okay. The recording will be available tomorrow on the webpage. Okay, I'll put it on the pace chart tomorrow, so it will be available. So let's review, because we're having some tech problems on the test dates. April 4th, you're going to arrive at 12:30. The test starts at 1 o'clock. The test is 2 hours, so plan on being there till probably about 3. For 6th grade, it's paper-based, so you're going to be writing this out. This is not on the computer. It's paper-based, okay? And all FSA, FCAT, EOC assessments are administered at the Lee County Public Education Center. And you're going to come in and exit during the north entrance. The same place that we do all of the first days of school and the other testing, that's where it is. Okay, any questions on the test dates for the FSA writing? Caitlin, you asked me that last week, and we need to get with Mrs. Baker, the guidance counselor, because I don't know the answer to that, okay? So Caitlin, you need to talk to Mrs. Baker in guidance to find out the answer to that. Yes, that's where we do everything, Caitlin. Okay, so we are going to go over the ELA writing, and I'm going to turn off chat privileges to go over the next couple of slides because I really want you guys to be focused, and some students get distracted with a lot of questions. Okay, so if you have questions as we go over this, write it down, and then when I turn on the chat again, you can ask your questions, okay? But I want you guys to really focus on the next couple of slides. Okay, so for the ELA writing, that's what we're taking, the first test we take in April. I want you to make sure that you read the prompt and underline the keywords, because remember, this is on paper. So you want to read the prompt and underline the keywords. You want to read the articles and underline the key points. Plan your essay. You'll have one sheet of paper to plan on. It will help you organize your thoughts and write down the reasons and evidence you need to support your thesis. Write your essay, and then you'll want to proofread. Last week, just to review, we spoke about the ELA writing and that you'll be given a couple articles to read and a prompt, and you'll respond to that prompt with your text-based evidence. And this is what we've been doing for the entire year. So you're really familiar with this, guys. I don't want you to be nervous. What we're doing is we're going over this so you know what to expect for the writing. But I'm confident that you guys will do really well because we've practiced this year. This has been part of our lessons. Okay? So the first thing you'll do when you get in, after you go through all the instructions, is you'll read the prompt and underline the keywords. Okay? So you understand what you're looking for. Then you'll read your articles and underline the key points. Then you want to plan your essay, organize your thoughts, write your essay, and then proofread. So what does it look like when you read with a pen or a pencil in hand? And I know this is a little different for us because we do everything on the computer, right? So let's look at it. And I know it's a little bit blurry, so I apologize, guys. But read with a pencil in hand. You'll see on this example, you guys, as this student was reading, they were reading with a pen or a pencil in hand. They were underlining, circling, writing for. So obviously this article was positive. It was for the thesis. Okay. And you can see the text is numbered. So the paragraphs are numbered on the text. All right. I'm going to turn on the chat now to see if we have questions about this first part. Okay. So do you have any questions, you guys, about reading with a pencil in hand? Right. You can write on the material that you're given. Thumbs up if you're comfortable with that. Okay, so Melissa, and that's okay. I'm glad that you said you don't understand. So this is when you are given your text and you're given a couple articles. Okay? If you're given a couple articles, as you read those articles, I want you to underline the key things. And we're going to go over the prompts again, but I want you to underline the key things. Right? I'm not sure why people can't see the slides. Try to refresh, try to log in or out. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the slides, okay? Thumbs up if you can see the slides. Okay. Logan and Rebecca, are you on your Chromebooks? And Ivan, are you on your Chromebooks? Yes. Okay. So, and Ivan's not. All right. Try your Chromebooks. You might have better luck with the Chromebooks. If you're not on your Chromebook, Ivan's not on his Chromebook, but he's doing okay. So try your Chromebooks if it's not working on your other computers. Okay. And remember, I will have the recording. I don't know, Melissa. I'm sorry. I will make sure the recording's available, and when I watch it, I'll make sure that you can see the slides. I can also send out the PDF. I'll share with you guys on the pace chart the link to the slides. Okay. Logan's saying that refresh and it fixes it. Okay. So let's move on, and we're going to come back to reading with a pencil in hand. Okay, because this is when you're given the articles, the text to read. What should you do first with the text, Rebecca? The first thing you should do with the text is read through it. And you want to read through it at least twice. The first time read through it, you want to read through it with a pencil in your hand. In other words, as you read through it, you're underlining key things. Okay, because this is paper-based, so you can write on it. So you want to underline key things as you go. Right? And we can work on that more next time we do an FSA review. If that's something that's unfamiliar to you guys, we can review that, okay? But what I'll do is I'll put the link to this recording and the link to the slides on the pace chart. Okay. So let's move on, guys, and let's talk about the rubric. So what is a rubric, guys? Tell me, what is a rubric? Good job, Rebecca. Guide on how they grade. Exactly. A rubric is what you're graded for, and it's your grading template. So I want to go over this with you guys so you understand what you are doing. And I did turn off the chat again so you guys focused. Okay, so stay focused. And this is available on the website that I'll share at the bottom. It's on the practice website. So this is the rubric that the people who grade, they're looking for when they grade your FSA writing. And you usually will have two different people grade. Melissa, I turned off the chat. Okay, let me go over this and then I'll get with you. All right. So usually you'll have two different people grade, and they can be college students, they can be retired teachers, right? But what they do is kind of a side job or maybe as a retirement job is they grade these for the state of Florida, right? So they're all given a lot of training and a lot of rubrics. So this is the rubric. This is for grades 6 through 10. And this is if you get an example that's informative or explanation, text-based writing rubric, okay? Remember, I don't know which one you're going to get, right, until we get in there. So you're looking for purpose, focus, and organization. You get 4 points for that, right? And 4 points for evidence and elaboration, and 2 points for conventions of standard English. So your purpose, your focus, and your organization, you guys can read through these, but you'll see that what they're looking for is consistency, sustainable, strongly maintained controlling ideas, skillful use of variety of transitions, style and objective tone. So if you do that, you get the 4. And then a 3 is adequate, okay? A 3 is appropriate. There's a progression of ideas. So that's that purpose, focus, and organization. So that's where you really write and you're organized, okay? And then the other thing is the evidence and elaboration. So on evidence and elaboration, we're looking for that text-based evidence. Did you use those articles? Are you supporting with text-based evidence? And then the last thing that you're graded on are your conventions of standard English. And that's worth 2 points, okay? That means your spelling and your grammar, okay? That's your spelling and your grammar and your punctuation. So you are graded on a couple of different things. Excuse me, guys, I was sneezing, so I put it on mute. So I apologize if it went blank there for a minute. I didn't want to sneeze into your ears because I know that's really scary. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. And let's ask questions about this. So what questions do you have on the rubric? And again, you guys, I will give you the link to this so you can look at it more in depth. Okay, so a 4 would be really good focus, organization. A 4 for evidence and elaboration would be using those text-based evidence. And then a 2 would be the highest you could get on conventions, and that would be making sure your spelling and grammar is correct. Okay, good, Melissa. I'm glad you can see this grade. Are you graded on your handwritten writing? No, you're not graded on your handwriting per se, but the person has to be able to read it, okay? Because they can't score it unless they can read it. So there's no grading. You don't get, 10 points better if you have better handwriting. But if the person who's grading it, if they cannot read your writing, they can't grade it. So you do need to make sure that your writing is legible. Okay, legible. Yes, the highest score is 10. Okay. Nope, Logan, that's an individual question and that depends on IEPs and EPs. So we'll talk about that later. Okay, Logan, you can get with me individually on that. What happens with this grade on the FSA? Well, the FSA score, it doesn't do anything with like your average in the class, okay? So if you get a perfect score on your FSA, that doesn't mean that you get an A in language arts for the year, okay? What it is it's a score to allow us to know as teachers and as principals and parents and all of that where you stand on the writing and what you're good at and what we need to work on. So what happens is they take this score and they combine it with the ELA reading score. We'll take the reading test in the middle of April. They combine those two and then you get your score for the FSA, okay? Again, you guys, I don't want you to be stressed about this. I think you're very prepared, okay? It's just a way for us to measure what you know and what we need to work on. So no stress, no pressure, okay? No, you don't get the rubric during the test, Caitlin. But you have it now, so if you want to look at it, you can look at it now. Okay? No, can't have it on there. Okay. Kaden, I hope you're kidding. All right, so this is the rubric, and we will definitely look at that again. Okay, and then let's review back to the prompt. Okay, so let's look back at this 6th grade prompt. And remember, you guys, you need to stay focused on this. Okay, I'm going to leave the chat on, but we need to stay focused. So here's an example of a 6th grade prompt. Your social studies class is researching both traditional and unexpected heroes. Using the information and examples found in the Courage and Heroism passage set, write an informative essay on what it means to be courageous. So in pink, this is kind of your to-do. Your prompt is to write an informative essay on what it means to be courageous. So this is kind of what you're having to do. You need to use the Courage and Heroism passage set. Oops, sorry, my circle's a little off on that. But you need to use the material that they provide you, the articles about courage and heroism, to write that informative essay. Okay. Questions on the prompt? Does anybody not understand or need more clarification on what the prompts will look like? Now, you may get a persuasive prompt, but this is just an example of an informational prompt. Okay, so we're all good on that. Give me a thumbs up. Depends on what it asks for. You can't highlight, but you can underline. Melissa will go with that under that next week. It will be, okay? So the next thing, after we look at the prompt, let's look at the sample of a text. No, you cannot use your notes on this, okay? There's no notes that you can use on the FSA. You have to go in just with a pencil. Okay, so I'm going to turn off chat for a minute because I want you guys to focus on the next part. This is an example of a text that you could get to read on the FSA. So you'll see it's titled Source 2, Monuments Men Foundation for the Preservation of Art by Roseanne Scott. They give you the source, number 2, the title, and the author. And I want you guys to read with me as I read aloud this paragraph. But it wasn't only Nazi plunder they had to guard against. It was left to the Monuments men to figure out a way to save Da Vinci's Last Supper, painted on the refectory wall of the convent of Santa Maria del Grazie before the Allies bombed Milan. By creating a scaffold of steel bars and sandbags around the wall, they saved the masterpiece. After the raid, it was the only wall in the refectory still standing. By using aerial photos, Monuments men diverted Allied airmen away from many important sites, including the Chartres Cathedral. When a cultural site ended up as an unintended target, Monuments men rushed in to make repairs. Okay, so that's a sample paragraph from a text. The text is longer, but that's a sample paragraph. So now, how to use sources. So this is an example of how you could respond. So again, remember, if we go back to our prompt, using the information and examples found in the Courage and Heroism passage set, write an informative essay on what it means to be courageous. So we know that we have to write something on what it means to be courageous, and we have to be informative. So we've read this text. We've underlined key things as we've read. Okay, we underline key things, we circle, we make sure that it's all clear, okay? And then we go to how we use the sources. So this is an example of what your paragraph could look like. To begin with, courage can come in many forms. In the article, Monuments Men Foundation for the Preservation of Art, the author, Roseanne Scott, uses the Monuments Men as an example of courage. By using aerial photos, Monuments Men diverted Allied airmen away from many important sites, including the Chartres Cathedral. When a cultural site ended up as an unintended target, Monuments Men rushed in to make repairs. Courage comes in many forms, and the willingness to sacrifice for art, as the Monuments Men did, is one example of courage. Okay, so that is an example of how to use the sources. So I turned on chat. Let's talk about this a little bit. So you have your transitions. Your transition to begin with. Okay, so you always start with your transition. You have your transitions. And then here is your text-based evidence. It's in the blue. There's your quote. You're citing it. You're using your signal words in the article, Monuments Men Foundation for the Preservation of Art. And you have the title and the author. Okay. Guys, I'm not really I don't understand. I see that people are putting question marks. And I don't know what you have a question on. Okay, so this was using this passage, Monuments Men Foundation for the Preservation of Art. This was our text-based passage. And then we use that source to explain our answer. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay. Good. All right, so questions on how to use sources. Give me a smiley face if you understand. Does this look familiar, guys? Because it should look familiar. We've done this. You did this for your essays. Okay, so does this look familiar? This isn't scary, is it, guys? You can handle this. If you don't know what a word means, you have to use the words around it in your context clues. Okay, so use the words around it in your context clues if you're not sure what a word means. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can do sources. So you can do the way that I've taught you all along and do your sources, your evidence, your signal words, okay? For the FSA, they'll let you do it a couple of ways. So let's look at the first one. You could do, for example, source to states and put your quote. Okay? That's an example of a direct quote where you say, according to the article, it states. For the FSA, you can also do source to states. That's a direct quote. The other example of an indirect quote is Monument Men not only helped to rescue art, they also rushed in to make repairs on a cultural site. And you would need to put source to in parentheses because you got your information from source to. That's indirect. Now the sentence starters. So if you're really looking to quote, and you should definitely be quoting direct and indirect evidence, you could do these for sentence starters. And this should look really familiar, guys, because this is what we've done as we've written our essays. In the article, you insert the title of the article, it states. So in the article, Monument Men, it states, and then you put your quote. Or another way you could do it for the FSA is, as stated in source 2, insert direct quote. Okay. Questions? Caitlin, because it tells you where you got the information from. Otherwise, it's plagiarism, okay? Yes, Rebecca, instead of putting source 2, you could put the title. I would recommend that you do what you're comfortable with. So we've really talked about using the title and the author. And hopefully by now you're comfortable with that. So I would suggest continue doing that. Okay. So sources, you need to make sure you do sources. Questions before we move on to the final thing? Remember, you guys, you know this stuff. This is nothing that I want you to be stressed about, okay? So, DBA. Yes, Caitlin, you'll have at least 2 to 3 articles. So the next DBA, there's a live lesson DBA next week on Monday at 11. Okay, so I'd like you to join me for that, for Module 4 DBA. In order to join and do that, you need to be caught up and on pace. Okay, and then for attending today, please fill out this form so you get credit for your attendance today. Question.